What if your business didn't consume your life, but instead created a lifestyle that you've always wanted? On this next episode of Profit with a Plan, I'm talking to Jordan Tait, the founder of The Intentional Business, about the power of time investment and designing a business that supports your ideal lifestyle with the right systems in place. Here's what you're going to learn: how to create a business that fits the lifestyle that supports your life, the systems that increase profits and free up your time, and why smart time investment is the ultimate key to freedom and growth. So if you're ready to work smarter, live better, and make your business a tool for freedom, tune in to Profit with a Plan. You don't want to miss it. Hey, entrepreneurs, are you ready to boost your profit and grow your business? Welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, where we share ideas to help you scale your company, increase profitability, and set you up for a successful exit. I'm your host, Marcia Riner, a business growth strategist and a profit booster behind Infinite Profit. I've helped countless entrepreneurs to build highly profitable, sale ready businesses. That means more profits now and a bigger payout later. By the way, this episode is sponsored by Infinite Profit, where we don't just talk profit, we deliver it. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit infiniteprofitconsulting.com. But before we dive in, I've got something really special for you. And I thought with the changes and everything that's going on, we keep trying to do everything right. And I find that a lot of my customers just feel like they're not getting the traction they deserve. So here's a tip I've been sharing with my customers. And it's about reviews. And it's the secret weapon to attracting new clients and building their trust. So that's why I'm excited to share a growth and marketing audit at profitbooster.biz. And in just one session, we'll show you how to turn those those reviews into real growth. If you're ready to stand out, visit profitbooster.biz and get started. All right. I am thrilled to introduce my guest today, whose journey from corporate burnout to entrepreneurial freedom will inspire and empower you to rethink how you approach your business. Jordan Tait is the founder of The Intentional Business, where he's on a mission to help entrepreneurs create a business that enhances their lives instead of consuming them. After leaving behind a high stress corporate career, Jordan found the meaning of freedom and fulfillment in building his own business, and now he helps others do the same. Through his simple yet powerful strategies, Jordan equips 6 and 7 figure business owners to grow their profits, increase capacity, and finally reclaim their time. So, if you've ever felt like your business is running you instead of the other way around, this episode is a game changer. And we're ready to get to work and learn how to work less, earn more, and enjoy the freedom that you deserve. So, let's dive in. Welcome, Jordan. I'm so happy you're here today.
Thanks, Marcia. So great to be here. Great
Yeah,
intro.
yeah,
Thank you.
kind of twirled for me today, but it's one of those early mornings. It already feels like 3 o'clock, and it's not even lunchtime yet.
No worries. I'm looking forward to chatting with you today.
Me too, me too. So, your career in corporate life and then jumping into the entrepreneurial world, there was something that really triggered you and brought this out. How did you come into this space?
The biggest thing that led me to create my own business was going through full burnout in my corporate job. I was traveling 2 weeks or 3 weeks a month all over North America. And I loved the work I was doing. I loved the team I was on, but that travel just wore me down. And eventually I got to the point where just getting out of bed in the morning was really challenging. And
Mm.
I wasn't able to show up as I want to in my life or my business. So I made the decision to leave that behind. And that low point really fueled me to say, I'm going to take control of my time, how I use my energy, and I'm going to build a business that doesn't burn me out, that doesn't drain me, but actually lights me up. And then I'm going to help other people do the same because I've also seen a lot of entrepreneurs hit that point. And the challenge with being a business owner is, when you're an employee, you can quit a job and find another one. But if you're a business owner and you start to hate your job, you have to figure out either how to make it work or you have to give up on that business. And that's a
Mm.
really big decision.
That's a huge decision. Most people birth their business, right? And they look at their ugly baby every day and go, what did I design here, right? And so I love that you took that low point and built something beautiful out of it. And I
Yeah,
can't
thank
wait to
you.
learn how.
It was a great journey, and what really helped me was while I was in that low, I just took space. I took 6 months off, and I traveled in Australia with my partner. And throughout that time, I was just reflecting on like what wasn't working, what would I like more in my ideal life. I did a lot of vision work,
Mm.
and what's amazing is all the vision work I did then has come true and been exceeded in the short time since.
Isn't that cool how that works? I mean,
It really is, yeah.
a lot of us, go, oh, that's woo woo and visions and, manifestation and all that kind of stuff. But when you put your mind to it, you can do some really amazing things and affect everything around you. So I think it's really cool that came out for you. So when you were doing your visioning and you looked at the things that you wanted better and you kind of said, "Nah, we're not going to do that thing again," right? What were some of the really important areas that you focused on and that you focus on in your business now?
So the most powerful exercise I did was I wrote down my non-negotiables for any work or career or business I was going to have in the future. And it was to counter the things that hadn't worked for me before. So I said, I'm not going to travel for work anymore. I'm only going to travel for pleasure.
Mm, I like that.
And I'm not going to work more than 40 hours a week and never on nights or weekends because I've got a full social life. I like to exercise and do all these things. So I want to balance my work and my life around that. And a third was I want to be able to make the money that I deserve for the value I create for others.
Mm.
Because as an employee, I just felt like I was continuously hitting walls, no matter how hard I worked or what I delivered in terms of value. So for me, it was really around lifestyle, time and balance, and then income and financial stability.
Okay, well, I think that sounds fantastic. But in reality, when we go off and start a business, it wasn't like that in the beginning, right? I mean, did you just come out of the gate and have this perfect lifestyle and you wish the income could come in within 40 hours a week?
Well, so with that as the goal, I just knew I'm not willing to compromise on these things to get what I want.
Mm,
So I looked at it as instead of how am I going to get there by just putting in all the effort, I looked at if I have 40 hours a week, what's the most important stuff I can do in that time to get the results I want? So I really focus in on like strategy and efficiency rather than maximizing effort. And by doing that, within a year, I've been able to build the business and the life that I want. But I haven't ever worked more than 40 hours a week. And often I work, 15 days a month rather than 20 or more. So it's working. I like to say that I'm proof of the concept. But more importantly, I'm getting to help other people do the same thing. And often it's you know, if the only way to grow your business is to work more hours, eventually we all hit a wall where we just have no more hours to give. So rather than that be the main growth strategy, which only works up to a certain point, I focus in on, okay, well, how many hours do you actually want to work? And how much money do you actually want to make? And when we figure out those numbers, then we can figure out what's the best strategy to deliver those results out of your business.
I love it, because like we said in the introduction, we all jumped into this entrepreneurial world for the freedom and the lifestyle that we wanted to have. And then we get wrapped up into this whirlwind of like working our butts off all the time and, not seeing the results or even the pay scale that we had in our previous job. I know that oftentimes we're so we're working close to minimum wage or, less at times, but definitely even if more than that, not what you could be if you were able to just shut it off at 5 o'clock and go home.
Truly. And I know that because in my earlier career, I was launching and coaching and training new businesses from day one through their first 2 years. So I just kept seeing the same thing happen where people came in and they had similar stories to me. They were leaving a corporate job that was taking too much of their life. they were missing their family. They hadn't taken vacations, and they were like, I'm gonna build a business that I'm gonna be a great boss for myself. I'm gonna pay myself more and work less. And I was really excited by those ideas. And then they would jump in. It would be harder than they expected because business is way harder than everyone promotes in marketing. And then they would end up with the total opposite scenario where they were actually working more, as you said, often earning significantly less. And then you start to really sit there with your feelings and your pain and your problems, and you're like, why am I doing this? I thought I was going to have freedom and flexibility and all this stuff. And it's not that that's impossible. It's just that the way that we work doesn't always lead to the results that we want. And I think that that comes from the big shift from being an employee, where you just show up and you do the work until you go home, to being a business owner, where you suddenly realize that the work never ends. It literally never ends. And
Never.
right when you cross off that last thing on your list, you find 10 more. So there's a lot of challenges with making that shift. But what I like to work on with people is saying, if that's all important to you, if having time and freedom and taking vacations and being with your family is truly important to you, then let's find a way to make it possible today rather than grinding your way to a future that you hope will be better.
Okay, you have me dreaming of a better life, right? Because yes, with the laptop lifestyle, I bring my business with me everywhere. It's on my mind whether I'm with my friends or with my family. I'm thinking, oh, did I send that email? Those kind of things. And it's crazy. So you've created a dream lifestyle for us. How do we do that? How do we really maximize? And if I give myself generously the 40 hours a week, not the 2 hours a day that some of the books say you can run a business in, but say 40 hours a week, a real work week. How do we really get everything done during that time?
So if you're at a point where you're already working more than 40 hours, and as most business owners I speak to are working 40 to 80 hours a week, then you're trying to do too much.
Mm,
And not all the things you're doing are created equal. So
mm,
often the first step I look at with a business owner is I say, okay, if you were to work 40 hours a week, what's the overage that you need to get off your plate? What's the stuff that's keeping you working till 8 p.m., the emails, the tasks? What is that? And let's actually create a role around that to outsource or delegate. Usually the first roles that you want to hire would be like a VA, bookkeeper, marketing support, or a service delivery person. So that really depends on where you're at in your business and what you want to offload. But the whole point is that anything you're doing that's worth less than $50 an hour, $100 an hour is keeping you stuck where you are. And the only way to keep growing is to let go of it so you can focus on the highest value activities. So most founder business owners should be focusing on the CEO level activities in the business, not the do it all yourself admin and service delivery activities. So they should be selling, marketing, promoting, building relationships, plotting the strategy of how we're going to get to where we want to go, and then empowering other people to help them actually get there.
great idea and very common that we business owners started the business and get into this. I think it's a habit, right? Or an addictive habit of going, oh, I've got to do everything because when I opened the doors, it was just me and I had to do everything. So now I'm the best at doing everything. So that delegation is a really uncomfortable place for many business owners to do and go, oh, well, it would take it would take me longer to teach you how to do that than to just do it myself, or you don't do it as well as me. I mean, there's a thousand excuses on why they don't do it, and one of them could just flat out be money, right? They're
Yes.
not at that time where they feel like they could pay somebody, but I
Yes.
like how you suggested the VA.
Yeah, so you nailed it. There's a lot of challenges with hiring, and hiring is not the only solution, but it's often it buys you back the most time the
Mm,
fastest. But what I say when to a lot of those things is, as long as you're the only person in your business who can do something, you will always be the only person in your business who can do that thing. So if you're the only person who can manage every little thing, then your business is going to continue to operate in the same way, but you're going to be the bottleneck. And
Mm,
that's where a lot of people they hit a plateau and they get stuck because they're struggling to let go. The people who grow the fastest and also get back their time and freedom like the easiest are the ones who let go of control, empower others, build systems, hire support. And it doesn't have to happen all at once. But what I always start with a person is wherever you are, there's 10 or 20 hours of work every single week that you shouldn't be doing. And just
mm,
I just start by identifying what that is. Because the other challenge with having it all on your plate is the mental capacity that you have. You're trying to do everything, you're juggling all the balls. Not everything is getting 100%. In fact, most things are getting 10%. And therefore, you're not able to, you're like, well, why don't I have more clients coming in? Because you're only doing 10% of the effort you could on marketing. And why aren't the clients I'm bringing in getting the best results? Because you're only doing 10% of your time on client delivery. So
mm.
this is this bottleneck that happens to every single person, but a lot of people get stuck in it, and then it starts to feel too heavy, and they start to be really reactive. In they don't have time to think strategically or plan ahead or assess what's not working because they're just trying to survive. That's where I love to
Exactly.
help people break out of that.
That is so important that is often missed, right? Because their head's so down working and chasing customers and putting out fires that they don't have the moment free to look up and breathe and look around and go, wow, is there a better way of doing this? Right. And I love that this is the focus of this conversation because, as we're having a new year start out, we're getting going, we're trying to do things better than we did the year before, but yet we're still doing the same thing rather than changing the way that we look at our business and say that what could I do better? And I think it's so important that we take a step back, even if it's for 1 hour a month, where you call it a board meeting with myself and you go to a quiet space with your tasks in your calendar and go, gee, what can only I do or what can I peel off of this? And then I always love the question because you're getting all these great ideas going for me here, but does this move the needle? Is this a high priority? Is this a high priority task? And I think, if you're so busy down here, you can't ever see that if you never lift your head up enough to look at it.
Yeah, and it's hard to do for ourselves. It's such a big reason why people like yourself and me as coaches and consultants can add a lot of value for people because in 1 or 2 or 3 hours a month, we can provide that strategy and the reflection and the cutting through the noise. Because
Mm,
usually once people are aware of these patterns, then they start to recognize, oh, this isn't helping, this is hindering me, and there's some change I need to make. But it's really hard to change when you're running 100 miles an hour every day, just trying to keep up. So that's how I always approach it is first step, let's create some capacity and some space. Let's get you some time back. That could be through delegating, could be through a system, or it could be as simple as saying a few of the things you're doing every week aren't adding the value that you think they are. So let's just stop doing them. Let's
mm,
let's get off one of those social platforms that's never got you a single lead and refocus on the one that's actually generating results.
right.
And that's a big philosophy of mine in business is that simple is better. And like you don't need a 10-page business plan or strategic plan for your business. You need a one-page plan that says, here's the big goal I'm working towards. Here's the 1 or 2 things I'm going to change to get there. Here's the like action plan per day, per week. That will get you results way faster than I'm going to try to change 1,000 things at once and nothing's going to happen, right?
Right. Simple. Let's keep it simple, right? What a brilliant concept that nobody does. Nobody focuses this direction. They're all trying to keep up with the Joneses and, oh, there's this new software. Oh, there's AI. Oh, there's what about TikTok? I need to be, out here because it's crazy that we chase rather than I think stepping back and putting a plan together, right? The name of the podcast is Profit with a Plan. I'm an incredible planner because I think that, as you said, with this one-page document, you know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
And, all these moving things that are going around us, we can choose the ones that will impact our business and then kind of push the other ones away rather than just taking them all in and trying to juggle with, you know, eggs.
Well, it's the shiny object syndrome. Social media has just made this worse than ever because all day long, every person around you looks more successful and is saying that they have the secret strategy. They have the one thing you've been missing. If you just do this, if you just do that. And all of it is true, but you can't do all of it. And
Mm,
like that's what's so difficult about it is we're just chasing these quick fixes when often they're only adding to the overwhelm because then we're feeling like, well, I'm dropping the ball here. I'm failing over there. I'm guilty that I didn't do this thing as well as I could have. And that's where it's hard, but I really think that the thing that will help us break through overworking, get more focused in our business and create the business and the life that we want is just being willing to say, I'm going to ignore all of that stuff for a while, and I'm just going to pick one strategy, one focus, and I'm going to do this for a few months and see what happens. Because you can go so much further when you're focused on improving in one area versus again trying to move the needle in 5 or 10 at a time.
ah, well said. Well said. There was a study that came out. This was a few years back. And they said just, on multitasking, and this kind of goes along with that idea that if you're trying to do two different things, your brain needs that transition space to go from task number one to task number two. And so if you think you're able to keep both tasks going at the same time, what like you mentioned, only 10%, or what it ends up being is more like, well, I'm only doing 40% here and 40% there because it takes me 10% to go back and forth but each time, rather than if you just focused on one task, got it done, check, 100%, and you got it done in a fraction of the time, then you go on to the next one. So I think it's that kind of model that if we focus our business in the same way and go, look, I have a goal, like you mentioned, and a direction, and if I just focus on that and kind of push everything else away for a little while, I could be done in 35 hours and
Yeah,
have 5 extra hours this week.
I fully agree. I think focus is a superpower in the world today. And many of the owners I speak with, when we're looking at their calendar, how they're using their time, why are they feeling so overworked? Many admit to spending hours a day on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it is. They all have this place that they go to seek distraction
Mm,
when the work feels hard, when they're
mm,
pushed into something that feels uncomfortable. And a lot of us are doing that and we don't even recognize it. It feels small, but it adds up to so much and it takes too much of our life. So distraction is one thing. The other thing is a lot of people think productivity is how many hours you work. And that to be more productive, you just have to heads down, work harder, harder, harder every day.
one more call.
Again, that's just this eventually we all hit a wall unless you want to be like an Elon Musk where you just work 18 hours a day in 15-minute increments, but that's not really a life worth living to me. So I think of productivity totally differently. Productivity is selecting the most important things to work on and then getting them done. And
Mm,
if you do that, if 1 hour a day is spent on your most important top priority and you actually make progress or get it done, that's a better day than 8 to 10 hours of frantically trying to do it all. But at the end of the day, you're like, what actually happened today? Did I even move the needle, right? And a lot of
mm,
people admit to feeling that way. And I've felt that way too. And it's always because I'm trying to just do more things, instead of focusing on the most important thing that I know needs to be done.
I like that. One of my mentors said that there was always like three things that you had to do, and you couldn't go home until you did those. And so, if that three things that moved me towards my goal for the week, that moved me towards the goal for the month, the quarter, the year, right? They're all interlocked. But if I did those three things and I got them done before 9 a.m., then I'm done, right? Not waiting until 4:45 to go, "Oh, crap, I haven't done the 3 things. Let me go do those now," right? And so it is taking that focus and concentration and the priorities on the stuff that needs to happen, not the noise that constantly whirls around us. I think that's masterful.
I mean, I follow the exact same system. Every single week on Monday, I look at my week and I write down what are the three big priorities I have this week. And then the first thing I do before I do anything else, any emails or anything, is just have I scheduled time to complete each of those? And then throughout the week, that's the main purpose is I've got to get through those three. If I only hit those three, the week is good. And
Success.
anything else that pops up is always going to happen. There's going to be urgent things, client things, whatever. But if you just simply focus on those three every week and the simple practice of planning before you jump in, it really goes a long way. And often that's just the simplest practice that help people break through where they're stuck. They start to realize, oh, I've been trying to do everything. And in trying to do everything, I'm actually not doing anything
Anything.
meaningful. I'm on a treadmill, but I'm not actually getting closer to where I want to go.
Mm. Wow, you are really setting me up in a mindset that, I mean, honestly, listeners, I know you've heard this stuff before, right? This is not the first time. This is not an enlightening conversation, but you know what? At a certain point in our lives, we have to hear it in a time that is meant to hear it, right? For it to actually change and take life of its own. But I know that we're all out there trying to make this year better than last year and meet the numbers and the goals and create the lifestyle we want, plus have the personal fulfillment that we want, right? With our family and friends and the things that, that we feel are important outside of work. And it all starts with what we do every day. And so for me, Jordan, this is actually hitting me in a time where it's like, I know this stuff,
Yes.
talking to myself, dummy, right? Why aren't you doing it instead of chasing the squirrels around and the shiny objects around? So this is really valuable and it's something I needed to hear. And I'm hoping that we trigger a few others in the audience to go, yeah, this is a perfect time for me to think again on what I need to do right.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
It is so simple. But most of the things that actually work in life are simple. Like you want to improve your health, you eat better, you exercise, you sleep well. Those don't change, but there's always a new fad, a new thing. And we always want new, we always want fast instead of simple. And unfortunately, like that's just this psychological thing we all have.
It's
And,
it's
and
called
I
it's
do
called
too. I'm not
marketing
saying I'm perfect
and
here.
programming.
But truly, like the practice of starting your day with what are the three most important things I'm going to do today? Have I got time scheduled to do them? That can change your day. And if you change your day, you can change your life. And
Mm,
this practice helps you start to recognize that a lot of the stuff we do actually doesn't matter. It just takes time. It doesn't lead us to the goals that we have in business. It doesn't lead, and it just takes the time that we say we want back to enjoy our lives. So that's why for me, like setting that boundary on 40 hours a week means now I have a puzzle of how do I get the important things done in that 40 hours. And if it wasn't important enough to get done in that 40 hours, it wasn't important enough to me, and it'll wait till next week. And it's taken a lot of discipline, but the more I do that, the more I see that if I'm still sitting here at 4 and there's stuff on my list, I have to look at myself and say, well, why didn't it get done? Oh, either I was procrastinating because I don't know how to do this thing well. It makes me uncomfortable. I thought it was going to be challenging. Okay, then what can I do differently to solve that tomorrow? And usually that's just, okay, I have to do it first thing in the morning when I have the most energy. Or there's just simply too much I'm trying to fit into this bucket and I need help to make this more manageable.
I think you've triggered something here that might be interesting for the entrepreneurs out there, right? When you said this was a puzzle. So most entrepreneurs love the challenge and the race and the figuring things out and building something, and then they kind of get bored and want to move on to the next thing, right? Many of us business owners have that mindset of this is a challenge, right? So I'm sure we could gamify this in some way and challenge ourselves to say, okay, I'm going to do this first because it's difficult or challenging or whatever it is. Or I'm going to put on my CEO hat and start to delegate these things out so that I can do the stuff and go play golf on Friday or go watch uh, Bobby's baseball game or Susie's ballet recital or whatever it is that we feel is important. But I think that if we just say it's simple and it should be done, well, duh, and I shouldn't have eaten that second cookie, but I did. So now how do I challenge myself and use the inherent traits of us business owners to do the things that we have to do that are important to move the needle? Does that make sense?
It does. And I fully agree. It's entrepreneurs are problem solvers, and it's addictive to get lost in solving problems all day. Part of the challenge of why this happens is we think every problem is worth solving.
Mm,
And it's not. Some problems, if you solve a problem in the way you market and acquire clients, that could be worth tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. If
yeah.
you solve a problem in website load time that saves you zero point 0.5 seconds, that might add value or it might not. It depends on your business. But we get lost solving all these little problems. The question I always come back to is, am I working on the thing that's going to get me closer to what I want?
Mm.
So if I want to add new clients, am I working on the marketing? If I'm not working on the marketing, then what am I doing? It means either my goal is not important or I'm not committed to it. And that's what happens with a lot of people is they have these goals, they have these visions of a better life, a better business, but then they spend a lot of their time avoiding working on them and thinking I need to get prepared, I need to do another course, I need another podcast, another book. I need an, we put all these things in between us and the thing we know we need to do, when sitting down and actually doing the thing is the only thing that's going to get us what we want. And that's often where having a coach, a consultant, someone to hold your hand and hold you accountable to it is what makes the biggest difference. Because I believe all of us know what needs to be done to get what we want. And if we actually do it, then the life we want becomes a lot easier.
Or if we don't want to do it, we hire somebody who wants to do it, but it still needs to get done.
Yeah.
Ooh, good stuff. Jordan, this is really enlightening and it's got me thinking, yes, there's a better way of catching a cat, mousetrap, whatever it is. There's a better way and it's simple. And I'm making it harder than I need to. So, I know that I'm going to get off of this phone and look at my list and go, okay, what three things I need to do, right? But I know the listeners are sitting here going, well, yeah, how can I do that, right? So where can listeners find out more about you and your company and how they can really get on the right track of being simple and more impactful in their business?
The best place is LinkedIn. I post content on LinkedIn throughout the week. I've got links to free trainings and things to help you grow your profit and get your time back in your business, and links to my website and everything. But Jordan Tait on LinkedIn. And my website is theintentionalbusiness.com. And on there, I've also got a free course that covers a lot of these. It's 7 simple strategies to grow your business and your income without working more hours. So through that, you'll learn how to focus on strategy instead of effort, how to focus on being productive instead of just busy, how
Mm.
to delegate instead of do it all yourself. And these are all these shifts that we know we need to make, but we struggle to. So there's a free course there, 10-minute lessons. It'll teach you just one simple way to implement that in your business to create more capacity and growth and time.
Love it, which is what we all want back, right? We got
It
into this
is.
business for the lifestyle, and instead we created a nightmare with the worst boss and the worst employee.
It's too common. I say that to a lot of people. I'm like, if the life that you want is contingent on you working less, then that's the problem to solve. How can I work less? And you
Mm,
don't need millions of dollars to be able to work less. Most of my clients actually cut 10 hours a week while growing bigger, faster businesses because when you cut down the hours and you stop trying to do everything, forces you to be more strategic. It forces you to be more productive and intentional and forces you to get stuff done through other people, which is ultimately what makes business growth a lot easier.
leverage, leverage, leverage. Love it. Thank you, Jordan. This was amazing. I know that I got a lot out of this. And again, it's nothing I didn't know, but it's at the time that I needed to hear it. So I think that it's brilliant and on point and super valuable. And I know the listeners have picked up some ideas as well.
Yeah,
All
thanks for
right.
having me.
Well,
I really enjoyed it.
yeah, me too. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you're going to take some of Jordan's really powerful ideas, simplify your business and your time so you could have more time to do the things that you really want to do, whether it's investing a little bit more of that back into your business, because I know we're all business owners, and then take the rest, the 7 hours after the 3 hours you've invested, and then go do something that makes you happy inside so you can come back with the life and energy that you want when you show back up on Monday morning. So I know that you can do that by using some of Jordan's great ideas. All right, as I mentioned before, if you're trying to do everything right and you feel like you're not getting the traction you deserve, it might be time to transform your customer reviews to attract new clients and boost trust in your market. Go grab my free growth and marketing audit at profitbooster.biz. And remember, in just one session, we'll show you how to turn those reviews into real growth. Don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss future shows. You can always catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. We're looking forward to more profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks so much, Jordan. This was super good.